Hello and welcome back to my F1 League Racing series. Remember, if you've missed any of the previous rounds so far, click the card annotation in the top right hand corner of your screens right now to go catch up with the whole entire series. But this is how things are looking after 11 rounds of the championship. DM Guy leading the way. We are currently 78 points behind, which means we are out of the championship, unfortunately. But the Constructors' Championship is still all to play for. 46 points in the lead is Ferrari at the moment, and we will be looking to try and end the season strongly and, of course, win the Constructors' Championship. But let's take a little look around a hot lap of the Mexican GP, as we are going to be doing our fastest lap now in the qualifying session. As you can see, in 18th position at the moment. It's not been a good qualifying session for us so far. About a minute left on the board, and we are yet to set a respectable lap time. Braking hard now at the 100-meter board, flicking it through the right and then the left, taking as much curb as you possibly can through these corners and get away with. You don't want to corner cut and also touch those curbs too much because it will unsettle the car. Onto the DRS, getting about 2.5 tenths of a second, so things are looking good so far. Braking again at the 100-meter board, throwing it through the left and then the right, trying to really straighten up your car for this corner. Brake softly into the double hairpin, hit the second apex, and then back on the throttle, but don't lose the back end too much. The heart rate raising in the bottom right-hand corner of the webcam. Now through the S's section. Do not invalidate through here. It's very easy to take too much curb. I think we were a little bit more cautious through that section of corners, but now currently 1 second up on our previous best lap time. Into the final sector then. Smouty on the right-hand side. Maybe a little bit off-putting, but he was way out of the way for us to really have to worry about him. Into the final corner there, and soft on the brakes once again. Up into fourth gear, up into fifth. Shortest to the line, and is enough to put us just about into P11. But I think after a few other people do set their lap times, they are going to jump us. Indeed, one person does. We drop down into P12. Again, maybe not the best qualifying session for us, I think, because of the mistakes we made earlier on. It meant we had to be a little bit more cautious for our final lap. So maybe we could have gained a few more positions there, but we just have to make do with P12. And we do get to do the alternative strategy, starting on the medium tyres today and really going for it, as we look very impressed there in the webcam now. But now, let's get into it for the Mexican Grand Prix. Only a handful of races left to go this season. The lights are on, the engine revs, and we are racing in Mexico, and it's a fairly decent start for a guy on medium tyres. We do get jumped there by Max O'Connor, I believe that is, in the McLaren car. We're kind of boxed in at this stage. We're trying to get slipstream. It's not really working, and I'm just going to take it cautiously into turn one because it's so easy to maybe lock up a little bit or get tagged on the inside of that corner. Again, cautiously through turn 2 and turn 3. A car on our inside, which is driver DNB, who we expected maybe to get a bit better traction off the corner, but he doesn't quite do so. I suppose he is on the harder tyres, and we're just going to try and see what we can do into turn 2. Maybe have a look around the outside of Flying Whale. Can't go through there. TJD and Flying Whale are fighting. Maybe we can go around the outside of the AlphaTauri through there. We can't, but that opens the door for the A-team of the Red Bull of driver DNB. So really poor start to this race. Probably my worst opening laps I have ever had to a race in my league racing season, as driver DNB moves into P14, we're into P15. Max O'Connor has some early damage, so he comes into the pits, and we are now up into P14 for this race. But it's still not good enough. We need to really start to get back through the field. We have a bit of a plan now. We've got Marken, who is still in the fight for the Drivers' Championship. Because I am completely out, I'm going to maybe try and play that Sergio Perez Checo role from F1 2021 and try and maybe help my teammate win the championship, as Ox went for a spin there down into the first couple of corners. This moves us up into P13. Driver DNB gets all over the place on the traction out of that final corner. Again, those hards just not able to heat up this early on into the race, and that allows a very easy overtake on the Red Bull driver. We move down in towards turn 1. He has a little look up the inside, but again, just doesn't have the speed to go for it. We're later on the brakes, and we move up into P12. So it was a poor start for us, but we're making up the ground now as the race goes on. We get our first warning there, just cutting the inside of the S's. As I said, so easy to get a warning around this track as TJD and Flying Whale go side by side through there. Now, this is great for us because they fought with each other. That's put me right on the back of the AlphaTauri of TJD. So great opportunity now to maybe overtake him, then get Flying Whale and be the leader of the drivers on the medium tyres. Remember, we're on a different strategy to the guys in the top 10, and it could maybe work out at the end of the race. Who knows, a safety car or something like that could really benefit us as we're having a look on TJD, but he's still a little bit too quick for us in a straight line. We go through turn 1 and turn 2 now. Flying Whale losing the back end ever so slightly, but we have a fantastic turn 3 out of there. DRS open, ERS on full blast, and we move to the inside line at turn 4, and TJD brakes a little bit later than we do, but we pin him on that inside line to really compromise his exit. He actually overshoots the corner, goes into our side. We left him plenty of room there to get through the corner unscathed. He wanted to take a little bit more, tap the side of my car. Luckily for him, he didn't get any damage from that, but now attacking Flying Whale on lap 7 now. Heading down in towards turn 1 on this really, really long start-finish straight. Great opportunity to overtake another driver. DRS open. We're not even using ERS at this point because it's such an easy overtake. We move into the corner at turn 1. We actually brake a little bit too early. We got caught out looking for our braking point, and Flying Whale, I think he went into the back of us. It was very, very close, but I believe he actually went into the back of us. So that was really not what I wanted to do, is to accidentally brake check him there. He did end up retiring from the race because of that, so I do feel really bad for Flying Whale, but luckily for us, he does not report me, although I should have got a penalty for that incident. Drivers, though, coming into the pits promotes us up into P7. We've got Saini and Zafso also coming into the pit lane, as is my teammate Marken. Now, this was kind of a bit of a weird strategy for me. I didn't quite understand it. I was hoping Marken would kind of stick with what DM Guy does, and then when they both pit, I can maybe hold up DM Guy and put Marken on the back, able to potentially overtake using DRS as Daki now comes into the pits. But DM Guy just going long into this race. I think that's because Marken struggles with his tyres more than maybe DM Guy does. I think Marken really struggles with them. DM Guy is kind of average, and then I'm really good with my tyres and able to take them much longer than a lot of other drivers, as we are now leading this race after DM Guy comes into the pit. So we're really slowing him down through the S's section, again slowing him down through this right-hander, and I go a little bit deep into this next corner to try and switch it back and get the DRS, but DM Guy, the traction on the new tyres, so much quicker through this final section, and even with the DRS, we're never really able to gain. You can see the heart rate, a lot of pressure on this moment, because this is my job to try and now hold up DM Guy as much as I possibly can. The heart rate raising up to 177 beats per minute. Look how far back we are compared to DM Guy, but we absolutely send it down into turn 1, overshoot the corner ever so slightly, and I don't think I trusted myself into the braking zone. I thought I was going to overshoot it. We let Joke Boat go because he can now attack DM Guy and maybe hold him up as well, and we're going to let through Marken in a moment, but I think I just didn't trust myself on the brakes, and that's why you see the steering shaking through the corner. If I think I just held it and trusted what I was going to do, then I believe that maybe I could have got the job done on DM Guy and held position against him. But Marken, we go off track there to let him through because obviously he's my teammate. I want him to try and do the best job he possibly can. And we are still ahead of TJD. Here on lap 20 of the race, yet to pit from these medium tyres, as the tyre wear is looking a little bit worse for wear at the moment, but TJD now going to go for an overtake down towards someone. We're not going to fight him because if we start fighting TJD, we're going to lose a lot of time to some of the other drivers. Daki is right behind me, right on my tail. He's got a 3-second time penalty, but also he is on a much different strategy to us. Of course, he started on the softs, then switched it out to the medium tyres. So Daki is going to be jumping up ahead of us now, and Zafso will be looking to get past us very soon as well. As we head into the S's section, really unfortunate timing here for Zafso. He's kind of caught us up through the S's. We're not purposely holding him up like we did to DM Guy, but now he's going to get DRS, and we just let him have the optimal line here. We're not going to fight him. We break early into this corner to make him just fly through that corner, because we don't want to fight him. We don't want to lose time, and we don't want Zafso to lose time because we're on this different strategy as well. There's just no need. We're on different strategies. And there's just no point fighting each other to hold each other up at this stage of the race. I believe we are actually going to come into the pits at the end of this lap, and we do. And we'll be going on to the soft tyres all the way to the end of the race. So 16 laps now left to go on the soft tyres. They should last for me. I'm good on my tyres, so it'll be perfectly fine for me to take the soft tyres all the way to the end at this stage. But pitting one lap earlier than TJD, or a couple of laps earlier than TJD, hopefully will benefit us and allow us to do that undercut. We're going to come out of the pit now just behind Max O'Connor, and maybe to F-Sane Wee as well. He's currently in P14, and yes, he is going to jump me and move up into 13th position. But I believe F-Sane here goes deep into the corner. Yes, he does. Just to give me back the position, because we're all friends in this league, and some of us, me, F-Sane and Markham, work very closely together. So he's kind of part of the Ferrari team. Of course, he won for us in France when I was not there. So he just let me have that position so we can really go on for this charge. So now going on the attack of Max O'Connor, and interesting enough, we actually overtook TJD as he pitted, so the undercut worked perfectly, and maybe thanks to F-Sane not getting in my way, as Max O'Connor has a very squirrely moment out of turn 3 there, and that allows us a very easy overtake to get past him and move up into P11. Now on the attack of the Mercedes of Timo Games, who was also kind of in that train with us, myself, Timo, and also TJD, right on the back of Timo, and we just go for it in towards this stadium section. At the time, I thought, you know what, actually, maybe I shouldn't have done that, because he might come back at me down the start-finish straight, but you just got to go for it. If the opportunity arises so easily as it just did, you got to go for it, and luckily, he was nowhere near able to challenge me down in towards turn 1. Now attacking Daniel as well. We're into the points, but we want more. We want more. Even though Daniel has a penalty, we know we're quicker than him. We're going to go for it. We're going to go tuck up right behind him, and it's very easy on acceleration. He basically doesn't even put up a fight because there's no need for him. Markin pits again in this race. I talked about weird strategy early on. He's gone for weird strategy again. He just loves an overtake here. So let's see if it works out against the M guy. But more drivers coming into the pit. Smiley actually, I believe, crashing as he comes into the pit lane. But Jokeboke, the next driver ahead of us, we move up into P6. So things looking really good for us at this stage of the race. We're currently in P6. We've got some faster drivers behind us who are going to challenge us in this race, but we're going to see what we can do at the same time. Maybe, who knows, we can maybe get Ox and Jokeboke as well and move ourselves into, who knows, maybe a podium position. Markin arrives on the back of us. We're just going to let him through very easily on the inside of turn 1. Again, he is still fighting in this championship. We don't want to hold him up. We want him to do the best that he possibly can, and hopefully still be able to challenge for the championship going into the last round. But Markin now in P6. We're in P7. Zafso coming into the pits as well. So we're going to jump him and move ourselves back into P6 once again. But a couple of laps later, Zafso is going to start to gain on us. Also TJD as well, right to the back of us, and a problem that has plagued us so many times this season, screen freezes galore. TJD just gets one of the easiest overtakes of his life right there. So does Zafso, and we move down into P8, which is really unfortunate, but we're not going to let it get the better of us. We're going to go for this race still. We're still going to try and maybe see what we can do. Maybe try and snag a P4. Zafso, TJD. Zafso actually gets ahead of these guys, but TJD and Ox fighting with 2 laps left to go. Really hard between the two of them, pushing each other through turn 1. And now we're going to get a great run out of turn 3. ERS on, DRS on as well. Down in towards turn 4. We get the slipstream, and then we dart over to the left-hand side, get the inside up against TJD. Brake later than him. We force him again, squeeze him on that inside, then switch back to the left to get the optimal line through turn 5. And that actually causes TJD to have a little coming together with Ox, which loses both of them time. And now we move on to the final lap of the race. We have another screen freeze right at the end that allows Saini another easy overtake. Another screen freeze there, but it's not enough because Saini does have 8 seconds of penalties. We are going to jump him, which means we're going to finish this race in P6. And that is looking very good for us to maybe try and hold on to P4 in the Drivers' Championship where we currently stand. In the Constructors, it is now only between Ferrari and Aston Martin for the championship, and we can potentially win it at the Dutch Grand Prix. So join me next time for that race. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, and I will see you there. Goodbye from me.